these are moments that certainly everyone will remember down the road. Very historic day.
Thank you.
It's extraordinary to see that, not only sort of the peak inside the White House, but then to see President Obama, Vice President Biden, David Axelrod. I mean, for 8 years ago, you were there as they moved in. What do you think as you see President Obama about to leave?
You know, first of all, I think about those two men who were rivals. They ran against each other. They didn't know each other all that well.
What do you think?
When Joe Biden was chosen as vice president, and they've become such close friends. You know, there are many instances in history in which presidents and vice presidents go their own way, and they don't have much of a relationship.
We saw that with Bill Clinton and Al Gore.
Yes, and I suspect George W. Bush and Dick Cheney aren't in close touch all the time, but I think these guys are going to be friends for the rest of their lives because of what they went through together and the bonds that they grew. So that's one thing that occurs to me. But I've spoken to the president the last few days. I think he's well satisfied that he did his best, and he's not leaving there. You know, his fingerprints won't be on the door jamb. He believes this is a healthy thing, to this transition of power, and he is ready to move on.
Well, he's also, 55 years old. He has a whole another act, several acts.
And that was one of the things that he thought about when he ran. You know, the time was right. He thought it was the right time for him to make a contribution. But he also knew that he'd be done with his presidency and still have, hopefully, many useful years ahead of him. So I expect to see him not as a leader of a party or the point of the spear in a political debate, but in trying to inspire others to step forward.
And yet, as between those two, as between the vice president and the president, the younger man's political role is cast and over in terms of elective office, but maybe not the vice president. You know, the vice president leaving that door ajar as he gets ready to get back literally on an Amtrak train later today and go back to Wilmington, Delaware, with a political future still undefined in his future.
Anderson, Barack Obama's fingerprints may not be on the door jamb, but there are many Americans who are kind of wrapping their arms around his leg as he gets on that elevator saying, please don't go. I think Boys to Men said it best, it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. And so there are a lot of people who are feeling that emotion. But President Obama has been the consummate leader, has been the consummate president throughout this entire transition. And he keeps saying that it's about we the people, it's about yes we can, we shall overcome. And a lot of people are taking his lead and attempting to come out of their silos and embrace today for what it is. It is an American tradition. And the President of the United States, who is leaving with overwhelming support, is instructing so many people in this country to at least give Donald Trump a chance.
We should also just point out they're running a little bit late. They were supposed to leave the church actually about 15 minutes ago. This really is choreographed down to the minute this entire day. So I'm sure there's some amount of time that says pad for them to catch up.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to say about both of President Obama and Joe Biden is that both of these men are men who have spent most of their lives in public service. Joe Biden certainly. And so you have an incoming president.
There you see, there you see Donald Trump, Melania Trump, after the church service, escorted also by Secret Service. You also see Tiffany Trump there with her boyfriend. I believe she's with Ross Mechanic is his name. We also, Eric Trump is there with his wife, Lara. Let's listen in. It is no small feat moving the president-elect at this point. It's also just about the toughest job for Secret Service that they have. So there's going to be a certain amount of waiting while they get kind of all the vehicles in a row and everybody in their vehicle. You also see there Vice President-elect Mike Pence, his wife as well. David Axelrod?
Yeah, what I wanted to say is we talk about this as a tradition. I actually think it's more than that, because anyone who has any sense who's about to assume the presidency should take advantage of these moments to ask for spiritual sustenance, because it is an incredibly difficult job.